Let's see if I can get you all these thorns. Get off me. The things I do for YouTube. Stung and torn up. So, I got a new tent. I've never set it up properly before. I put it together up in the back garden just to make sure I have everything. But for a long time now, I've been using the Vango Xenon UL2, which is an incredible tunnel designed 2-person tent. I love it. But I'm looking at a tent today given to me by 3FUL. I also brought the Vango with me, so let's compare them. And just my luck, I had to retreat underneath a tree because it started to rain. But I'll wait. I brought up a cup of tea with me, so we'll hang tough for a few minutes. Cheers. Freya, you're in the rain. Will you come out of the rain? No, the dog seems to be happy in the rain. The stink. Freya rolled in something and she stinks. Actually, don't know what it was. She was up there. Could be shite or something, but it's just disgusting, and it's all the way along her body. Could you picture if I brought her wild camping and she did that? She'd be stinking and shite. Like, that's disgusting. I can smell it here now. Be getting a bath when she gets home now. So what I have here is the 3FUL Taihang 2-person tunnel design tent in my favourite colour, which is khaki. I wanted to bring it up and just compare it to another tent that I have, the Vango Xenon 2. Another 2-person tunnel design tent. The main big difference between these two, this costs 3 times the cost of this. Let's go through this first. I'll pitch it, go through the features, and then I might put up this and we can do a bit of a comparison. One of my favourite bags. So they probably got the idea from Vango, being honest, because Vango were the first tents that I saw that had a side axis stuff sack. And I think they just went one bit further because the stuff sack is massive. Okay, just Velcro here. Okay, we have here extra guy lines. They're obviously for a reason. I don't know what. As I said, this is my first time properly putting this up. You get a ground sheet. Lovely. What else? Your pegs. Nice khaki colour. Okay, what the hell? Oh, you get an extra one of these. So you get 1, 2, 3, 12 aluminium. Very small. They're about 100 mil. About 110, 120 mil long. Not that long at all. A little cutout there for holding the actual guy line. Yeah, I wouldn't be relying on them in really strong wind. They're light. They're handy, but no, not. I wouldn't be relying on them. But look, they are what they are. Nice colour and nice little tie rope here to pull it back out. So what else? Repair kit. Not that I'm going to be bringing an iron out with me, but there's a sticky part, obviously, for just on the trail, but then for a bigger patch for a fix at home. And you get a centre over brake, they call it. So obviously, if the pole breaks, put this over it and you can put tape around it. I always carry tape out with me anyway. I actually have it around a piss bottle. We have the 3FUL 8mm aluminium poles. Okay, it comes with these, which I never keep. I don't know if anyone else ever keeps these, but there we go. It's hard to put an exact weight on this. It's coming in, they say, 1.79 kilograms, around the 1.8, okay? Most 2-person tents that are tunnel designed with poles are all around the same weight. But the thing is, you can get a 4 seasons inner, 3 seasons inner. I think you can double pole on this as well. So if you brought extra poles with you, if you bring the ground sheet or don't bring the ground sheet, it's going to add weight. So when you're picking this on the website, you have a lot of choices, which obviously is going to change the weight. But they say trail weight of 1.79 kilograms. Oh, nice. I just noticed something. There's one set of poles, there's a second set of poles that I just dropped. So I got 2 full sets of poles with this, and I did read that you can double pole it, so maybe that's why they gave me 2 sets. Sorry, I got this from 3FUL now, they sent it to me. Okay, so they are different sizes. So obviously whatever the end is will be the smaller pole. It's fairly easy to pull through. Very easy to pull through actually. It's good, let's do the second one. So I did get these to double pole it because there is enough space in there, as you can see. But for now, I'm just going to put them up the way I got it because not everyone's going to be using the double pole. But the brilliant thing is, it does give you the option. So the pole goes in there and matches the other side. Okay, let's peg it out. I just got stung by nettles. Having something that big doesn't make sense with something that small. So I'd nearly put a little, say, bit of cord around it. Just a tiny bit there would make it a lot easier. But anyway. What we'll do first is, we got that on, we got the end on, but we will do these next. Get them tight so the full middle part of it is nice and tight and true. And then we can re-tighten up both ends. It's the best way to do it. Let's just go around the outside before we go into the inside. Then I'm going to put up the Vango Xenon and let's compare the both of them and see what you think. You have the 3FUL logo here. I'm not sure yet about those pegs, but the strap here is very, very strong. I wouldn't even worry about that. So you obviously have your clasp here for opening up the door. We'll go through that in a minute. Okay, so let's look at airflow. Mesh in here. You have like a little, it feels like aluminium on the inside. Presume, yeah, Velcro there. And I presume there's one at the other end. And yes, lovely airflow in all the way through. Okay, so your sleeves here, they're nice and thick, reinforced, to fit 2 poles if required. I showed you earlier. So you have your multi-stitched attach points for your very light, that's like a 2mm or 3mm cord. It's yellow, which is very basic, but does the job. And it's on 2 points, so you can adjust it to suit, so that's pretty cool. But this taped seams all the way around, that is very reinforced there. More so than anywhere else. Oh, it's because the zip is that side. Okay, that's really, really strong material. So the outside fly sheet, 15D PU coated silicone 5000mm hydrostatic head. I said this before, if you don't understand hydrostatic head, you just need 1000mm hydrostatic head for it to be waterproof. Say 1000mm of water sitting on top of the fabric before it leaks through it. So then the finer that the material becomes, the higher hydrostatic head value. So this is 5000mm hydrostatic head, which is massive. As mentioned before, I had this up out in the back garden. I only thought it zipped open one side. I actually didn't check the other side, stupidly. But that's even better. That is actually even better. I didn't realise that it's both ways. It just dawned on me now, I actually didn't use the footprint. But I wanted to see, does the footprint go all the way into the vestibule as well? So what I might do is I might lay out the footprint beside it just to see the length of it. Because I'd like if it went in to the vestibule as well, so you have another dry area. So it looks like it is just for the sleeping area. There's none for the vestibule. That's the width of it, look, there to there. So it pins onto this corner. And it pins onto the both corners over there, so there's none for the vestibule. I'm just thinking now though, what you could do, so you could use it pinned to each corner there, and it would come, and you could pin it to this corner here, but you're getting none for the end there, you just have to be careful. So I just measured up the footprint there, so what you would need for the full tent is 11 foot by 5 foot. That's the kind of area you'll need to actually put that down. Let's go into the inside. That's already going to annoy me. The zip is only one way. There isn't another zip up there. And you know what? It stays really well in place, but one-handed, it's really good. Okay, let's fold her back. This is the size of your vestibule, which is really, really big. So let me measure up this before I open up the other door. You're looking at 130 centimetres by 130 centimetres. That's a big space. In saying that, you do have the slope here, so you're not going to get use of all the area as in sitting up. What I have here is the 4 seasons inner. You can see the nice gap all the way around the edges, just all hooked on. There's lovely mesh up here, but this is 15D nylon ripstop. That's a 2-way zip, which is even better. You can fold the door down, but then you're going to be sitting on the door, which makes no sense to me. But look at the length of that. And what I can see is you only have one small little pocket here, but it wouldn't make a difference with something that big anyway, because you're going to have lots of space. But let's get in and let's get some measurements. I really like the vestibule like that. Like you could have everything set up there. You can have your feet just resting outside. So sitting here, obviously this is the longer pole frame right up at the front. 94 centimetres. So sit in the ground, measure your body, make sure that's okay for you. But it's going to be different at the back. 77 centimetres from there down. You have a nice hook point up here. Is there one at the back? No, there isn't. So the floor is 20D ripstop 6000mm hydrostatic head, and that's the same as the actual footprint, so you can double up. And the one beauty about these kind of tents, and it's the same with the Vango, is you can take the full inner out. And I've done it before where I was on a camp. I took the full inner out and I sat inside here in the lashing rain having my breakfast, looking out at the fog and the rain. It was gorgeous. So let's get some measurements. 7'6". Plenty of space for you giants out there. The width inside just over 4 foot. So very, very impressed by that. I'm going to get up now the Vango Xenon 2. I won't go through the full rigmarole of showing you how to put it up because I have a full video review of this tent already, and I actually had this tent out on the trail a good few times already. So let me put this up and let's compare them both. And we're getting an unexpected rain test. So blue skies on the way. Nice little rain test there now. I had no doubt anyway that they were going to be dry, but we'll go into both of them there in a minute now, and I'll just do some measurements and comparisons. But so one thing about the sil nylon fabric is it stretches when wet. If you're out in it for a long period of time, in the rain you might have to go out to tighten it up, so make sure you leave some room for yourself to tighten up the tension straps all the way around your tent. Like, don't set it up when the tension strap is at its max, if that makes sense. And why is the dog gone out lying in the rain? Will you come in here? Come here. What do you like? Come in here, good girl. Okay, now that it's stopped raining, let's just go through the outer, just a quick comparison of what they both are. So the weights, 1.79 kilograms, 1.8 kilograms. So the material, you have 15D silicone PU coated 5000 millimeter hydrostatic head. The Vango is a ProTech. It's called sil nylon 15D ripstop. Fairly similar with, you have the air vents here. You have an air vent here, but nothing to hold it up. Well, if the wind was hitting this way, it would push it down, but there's nothing to hold it up here. You have the arch with the double attach points here, and you have just a single attach point here. These are also color coded, which they're not on the 3FUL, but that doesn't make a difference. You always put the bigger pole to the front. At the back here you have a flap, and you have a double guy line on the back here. You have an extra pull point here, here and here, which is more than the 3FUL. There's no center one here, which would be good to have, being totally honest. It's just each corner. So I've already measured the 3FUL, which was 11 foot by 5 foot. Let's do the Vango. The only difference is a foot. Plane taking off. The 3FUL is 11 foot by 5 foot, and the Vango is 11 foot by 4 foot. I really like the 3FUL vestibule, and the reason I like it better, you can have that door open, you still have this massive flap here, so if the wind was actually pushing forward here, you're still covered. If the wind was coming from this direction, keep that door closed and open that door, and vice versa. So it's a lot more versatile when it comes to where you position your tent, because wind changes in the nighttime. The Vango's a front facing vestibule, and you just got to be very careful your direction of the tent, because if the wind is front facing and hitting you, you'll be in a bit of trouble if you wanted to keep the vestibule open. But let's open it and just see. As you can see, you have the double doors open from the 3FUL. Gives you lots of options. And here is the front facing Vango, which is a lot smaller, but it'll still do the job for you. In terms of vestibule, 3FUL all day long. I love that design. That's a win so far for 3FUL. So I won't go into all the details of the Vango because I have a separate video fully dedicated to that. But let's get the measurements of both the inners. This is 7'6". 3FUL is 7'4", and the width you're looking at 4 foot across, and the 3FUL is 4'3". So height wise inside, actually 3FUL is 100 millimeters higher. The highest point of the Vango is 86 centimeters. The 3FUL is 96 centimeters. So if you're a taller person, the 3FUL is for you. In terms of storage, you have a lot more storage inside the Vango. You have 2 upper pockets here, and then on the side you have 4 mesh pockets and 4 mesh pockets. So that's 10 pockets you have inside in this. Plenty of storage. What I actually even started doing is I have one stuff sack dedicated for anything loose inside in my tent, and I just leave it in that, no matter what kind of tent I'm bringing, big tent or a small tent. So your choice really, but for me, I just use a stuff sack. In the Vango as well, you have 2 hanging points, one at the back and one at the front. In the 3FUL, you just have 1. So having a small vestibule is not a showstopper for me in this design of a tent. And the reason is you can unclip it and move it back. There are a few small differences between both of them, but there's one massive difference. And that difference is the cost. Currently, the Vango is €440 the last price that I saw for it. And like, you're getting a hell of a tent for that. And it's the F10 series, so you are getting a lot what you pay for. But the 3FUL Taihang 2, €172 for all that. €172. Like, the Vango's 2.5 times more than the Vango, or than the 3FUL. Like, that's crazy price difference. If you took the cost away from it and they were both identical cost, which one would you go for? For me, the 3FUL is such a beautiful design. And again, I won't keep harping on about the vestibule, but I love it. It's so versatile. So if the prices were the same, which one would you go for? But the prices aren't the same. The prices are vastly different. €440 versus €172. That is crazy. I will be getting this out into the weather just to see what it's like. How strong it is in the wind, only time will tell, but I have no reason to think that the 3FUL won't be good in the wind. Every 3FUL tent I've had so far is very, very good in the wind. It's very well built. But I will get out and test it, and I don't want to give my full verdict now, but at the moment, on design, I'm liking the 3FUL. I really, really am. On the price, it's a no-brainer. If the price was identical, which one would you go for? So put it in the comments. I'd be really interested to hear your thoughts. But for me, I'm not going to give my full verdict yet, but design-wise, 3FUL. I will be testing it in the wind, and we'll go from there. Thanks very much for watching. Stay safe out there. I'll leave all the details in the description. We'll talk to you in the next one. Bye.